So this year is the year of the wedge, and what I want to do is I want to help you work on and improve your wedges. I want to work on and improve my wedges, and that's really why it's the year of the wedge, because this is what I'm focusing on. By the way, don't forget to tell your friends about what we've got going on here. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. So I've got 53-degree wedge. Now, I carry 3 wedges here, 58, a 53, and a 46. And obviously, there's some loft differentials in those. The gap is 46 to 53. You're talking about 7 degrees of loft. And then from 53 to 58 is another 5. I recommend 4 degrees of loft for everybody. So if you're going to have, if your pitching wedge is 44 degrees of loft, you should have a 48, 52, 56, and 60. That should be the makeup. Try to stick with 4. If you have to stretch it to 5, that's fine. And then if you're a much better player and you've got some skill sets, then it's okay to go to these 7, 6, 5-degree differentials. What I want to talk to you about is in-between wedges. Now, before I start hitting some shots and explaining all this stuff to you, I need you to understand this. With irons, 7-iron, 8-iron, you're rarely in between clubs. With wedges, you are going to be in between clubs, particularly if, like me, you've got great gaps in between the two. We're typically trying to find 10-yard differences between your 8-iron and your 7-iron. With wedges, that number can be sometimes 20 yards or even 30 yards, and you have to be able to hit these in-between shots. So I want to show you some of the alterations that you can make to fix those in-between wedges so that you have confidence and trust in them, because so many times people get a little bit untrusting of the motion. Now, one most important thing, you got to find a place where you can hit your golf balls that you play with and have the distance measured. If you can't do that, it's really difficult to come up with this, because range balls have such variance, and particularly not just ball to ball, but particularly from that ball to the ball that you play, right? So I'm a Pro V1X player, and this is what I'm hitting in the studio, okay? So as I go through this stuff, you're going to see this. I am working with the same golf ball that I play with. If you go to a range and you don't use the same golf ball, you're going to have real problems. So you need to go somewhere where you can hit your golf ball, and then also, too, it can tell you the distance that the ball goes. 53-degree wedge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this full. This will go about 105 for me. Now, when I'm doing abouts, if it goes 108, if it goes 103, I'm fine. I'm not a tour player. I'm not trying to, and I'm not going to say I get 105 and it's 105, or I get 107. I'm in the ballpark here, okay? So this would be 105. Hit that very, very solidly. I just got it a little bit on the bottom part of the club. Comes up a little bit short. And what I like to do when I'm trying to gauge distances here is I don't just hit one. I'm going to hit several, okay? So with a little on the bottom of the club there. This one here, this is a pretty solid shot, pretty good representation. That one there, come on up to the front here, Gibbsy. And what you can see is the carry distance on that one was about 104. Ball speed's at 85. Club head speed was at about 78. So I'm looking at about 105 and 85 is what I'm looking for. That ball speed should be right around 85. And I should get about 105 in that, okay? That one was pretty good. A little bit thin, and I say thin, I'm talking about maybe on the second or third groove. So I probably added a little bit of loft on that one. Club head speed's right at 77. Ball speed dropped to 84, and the total distance on that shot was 101. Again, not a bad shot, but not the 105 that I'm looking for. So this will be the last one. And this one here this is a pretty good shot. So 85 again, there's that 105. So I like that shot quite a bit. That one there's about, a couple feet. So very happy with the outcome of that. So 105 is on my number with my 53. Now, what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to figure out how to take 10 yards off. And if you can take 10 yards off, you're going to pretty much cover these gaps, okay? So like I said, your 7-iron to 8-iron has a 10-yard gap. If you can figure out how to take 10 yards off of your same wedge and swinging, in effect, the same speed or trying to swing the same speed, just figuring out what in your pre-swing you can do to take distance off, now all of a sudden you have a chance. So a couple of shots I hit in there were a little thin. Now, this will bring me to my first spot, ball position. So if I take my ball position and I move it a little forward, I'm going to tend to slow speed down, believe it or not. And at that point, I've also added a little bit of loft. And what I find is that when I do this, it's going to go about 95. So I judge ball position on my ears and my nose. So ball position standard, right off my nose. Ball position on my left ear, my forward ear, that will take some distance off. If I put it on my right ear, my trail ear, now all of a sudden I'll add some distance. So put this thing up to what would be a forward ball position here, and this should get about 95. Now it's going to go quite a bit higher, and that one there spins. So come on over here. So just look at the club head speed. We'll start with that. I was about 77, maybe 78 with the club head speed when the ball position is on the nose. As I move it forward, it slows down just a little bit, 1 mile an hour. That's all that happened. But look at the ball speed drop to 82. And this all of a sudden drops to 96. So 95, as I said before, is fine. And that one there is at 95. It'll launch a little bit higher. So that's going to add, as that ball starts going up that way, it's going to steal some distance out as well, right? And then the spin rate is pretty much the same, about 9,400. So all of this all makes sense. And so you bump that ball position up to your ear, you're probably going to lose about 10. Now, let's go back to the other one. If I bump this ball position to my trail ear, my club head speed, believe it or not, is going to go up. I know it sounds nuts, but it does. It goes up. And what it will also do is it's going to take some spin out. It'll take some launch out. So that launch is about 32. When I do this, this launch will come down. I don't know the exact number that I'm going to get because obviously my impact is going to, I'm not perfect and I'm not a tour pro, but my launch angle is going to come down because I'm going to deliver less loft. And that's also going to help me get this ball to go a little bit farther. And it may draw, believe it or not. Okay, the ball forward may cut, the ball back may draw. So I'm right off of my trail ear. And now we go. This one I hit very, very solidly. It did draw, and now it's come up here because this is fascinating to me. I like, as much as I've done this, and I see this all the time, it literally startles me with all the little different things and how they change. So when I put the ball back in my stance, there's less loft on this club face. My club head speed right at 76. So I thought it would go up a little bit. And on this particular one, I didn't maybe swing as hard as I could have. But so at 76, the ball speed still got to 90. So that means it was taken off a little bit more. And it did draw. That's that left spin. And all of a sudden, I carry that thing 113 yards. Now, what happened to the launch angle? Remember, we were at 32. This one, by moving that back, this launched at 27. The apex came down. The descent angle was less. I was at 50. The one before, this goes to 48. So I know now, by moving the ball forward, I'm going to lose 10. And by moving it back, I'm going to gain 10. So I've already got a 20-yard differential. My 105 club, I can stretch to 115 by moving the ball back, and I can drop to 95 by moving that ball forward. It's so easy, and yet it requires a little bit of practice, okay? Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to work with the loft of the club. Okay, so as I got into moving the ball positions around, I messed with the loft of the club. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with the loft directly. So I'm going to take the club face and I'm going to open the club face up. Now, here's the fun part about opening up the club face. If I open up a club face with the 7-iron, I'll get slice. When I open up the wedge, I'm not going to get slice. I'm going to get a little fade because I'm going to add spin. So my spin before was at about 9,400. That one there with the ball position back is at 8,600. But my ball spin standard is about 9,400. I'm going to take this and open this up. That should go up. That may get to 9,800. It might sniff 10,000. I don't know. Again, a lot's going to depend on what happens with the contact. Ball position is under my nose now. And when I open up this club face, what I do is I take the leading edge and I make it go directly to my heel. So this is where these alignment sticks are going to be really important for you, okay? And I'll get to the second one in a second. But what I like to do is set this thing up, drop it on the ground like this. I'm going to set up with the ball position off my nose. So I'm going to get in here like this. Let me get squared away. Give me just a second here. So I'm squared away. So now that alignment stick is right at my heel. So what I do is I take the club face and I set it to that line. As you get better at this, you won't need an alignment stick, but when you first start, it's a really good enhancement to what you visualize. Now, here's the problem. While this won't slice, it will jump to the right. So when I hit this, it's going to jump to the right. I'm going to hit it because I don't want to rearrange everything. But I open this up. Now I'm going to try to swing this at the same rate of speed that I was swinging it at when I was square. So I'm hoping for about 76 miles an hour on this. And I got 77, so pretty good. There's the 95 that I was trying to hit it at. Now, check this out. So I open this thing up. I don't know exactly how much it opens up to, but at 53, my guess is that it's going to open up to about 57, maybe 58. But that's going to go about 95 yards. The club head speed on that one was 77, but the ball speed dropped. Remember, the one at 76 was at 90. This is at 77 and went to 80. Remember I told you spin rate was going to go up? This one went up to about 9,800. So launch angle is going to go up a little bit. That's at 32. The spin rate goes up. Overall distance comes down. Descent angle goes back up to 50. Just by taking that club face and opening it up. Now, what it did do was it went to the right. And what you have to do is you have to allow for what I call deflection. And deflection is when you open up that club face, it deflects the ball out to the right-hand side. So now, when I open this thing up like this, set it to the heel, and now swing through, this one was really good again. And our numbers are going to be very, very, very similar. There's 95, so that one I liked a lot. I ended up aiming a little bit more to the left, so that ball started to the left about 2 degrees. It spun to the right about 537. And again, this backspin is at 9,800. Now, Gibbsy, pull that full and look at how much that didn't slice. That just had a little fade to it. So it started a little left and it faded back to the flag. You have to be able to play with that club face and know that this ball is going to end up to the right of where you think it's going to end up. Whether it starts over there or it cuts over there, it's going to end up to the right. But again, what did I get? I got predictable distance. So that one flew 96. The spin was at that. The ball speed was at 82. So very similar, 80 to 82. And then my descent angle was at 50 there. The launch is at 32 again. So as I open up that club face, I now have a way to take distance off. Now, here's the fun part. What you now can do is you can do several things here. So if I want to take some distance, some major distance off, let's say I want to take 20 yards off, I can open up the club face and move the ball position forward. If I open up that club face to my heel and move that ball position forward, this should come up about 20 yards off of my max. So this should go about 85. Now, I don't know whether we're going to get 85, but my guess is that it's going to be right around that number. So here we go, right to the heel, open this thing up. I got to aim a little over there, and now we go. And now this thing pops out. Look at the spin rates and how the spin rates all change here. So that one went about 78 yards. I swung it at a club head speed of about 77. So the club head speed really hasn't changed. It's been about 76, 77. The ball speed now goes to 71. So that actually drops down a whole lot. I was trying to get 85. It went about 80. So maybe I opened that up a little bit more than I had wanted to, because I swung it at the speed that I wanted to. But look at how much the spin rate changed. All of a sudden now I'm at 10,300. Why is that an advantage? So let's just say that you have a shot that is, make this up, it's an 80-yard shot, but it's in the front of the green, and it's just over a bunker. And what you want to try to do is attack the flag, but you want to attack it with backspin, so you want to hit it past that flag. Well, now all of a sudden you know, hey, you know what? If I do this, this, and this, I can get some more backspin. And what you have to do is you have to experiment. You have to figure out, hey, if I open up the club face and I move the ball forward, what is that going to do? If I open up the club face and I move it back, what does that do? There's all these little different things that you can put together. But the cool thing is this. I have not changed my club head speed at all. It's all been about 76 miles an hour, maybe 77 miles an hour. But the ball speed has varied quite a bit. That one there went to 71. The max on one was 90. So if I can create 20 miles an hour difference in the ball speed, and I can alter my spin rates from, let's say, in the 8,000s, 8,500, say, to that one, which is 10,300. So say 2,000 RPMs, all of a sudden, different ball speeds, different spin rates, I get different distances, different launch angles, I get different distances. And I'm making the exact same swing with the exact same club. I'm just moving some things around. I'm opening the club face, I'm moving the ball position, I'm doing those little different alterations, and I'm getting a variety of distances. And so what you want to do is you want to experiment, but most importantly, what you got to do is you got to get somewhere where you can hit the golf ball that you play, so that you know what these distances, these spin rates, these ball speeds, descent angles, launch angles, what they all are, so that you have predictability in what comes out. Now, the final part of this is gripping down. I want you to understand a grip position. So I have two grip positions. I have my normal grip position, which is up here, and then I have my grip down position, which is over here. And when I grip down, I'm going to get a 10-yard difference. Now, I don't want to take the time in the video to share that. I'm just telling you, you can get to a grip down, and all of a sudden, you can get some really, really dramatically different distances by just altering these pre-swing thoughts. Grip position, ball position, club face position. Those things, when you start changing those, we all of a sudden are going to get some real differences in the distance, and you never have to change your golf swing. Enjoy that. Experiment with it. I know it's going to help you play better. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.